Rachel Zegler didn't just star in Disney's Snow White. She may have set fire to the entire story before it ever reached the screen.
I love her, and her superpower is her heart. It's nothing supernatural. It's something that all of us have. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy Snow White. Thank you, guys.
I'm sorry. That was acting. That's what that was. I don't really care what happens with this movie. I really hope her career is pretty much over. I'd be thrilled to see that. I can't imagine. I mean, Christian, you tell me.
Before anyone saw the film, something already felt off. Her interviews were tense. Her tone didn't match the role, and every time she spoke, the controversy only got louder. Some blamed Disney, others blamed the culture war. But behind the scenes, this story started with a single phone call. Because the person who handpicked Zegler was someone no one dared to question. And what happened next would lock Disney into a gamble they couldn't afford to lose. Megyn Kelly had one question after watching Disney's Snow White. Who approved this mess? The 2025 remake barely resembled the classic, and for Kelly, it wasn't just a bad movie. It was a warning sign. Rachel Zegler starred as the new Snow White, Gal Gadot as the villainous queen, and the seven dwarves were replaced by strange-looking CGI. Fans weren't impressed, and neither was Kelly, who called out the film's direction and its casting. But here's where things get interesting, because the decision to cast Zegler, that came from a name no one expected to be involved.
That is totally uplifting and the right way to be woke, Link, when you actually canceled the roles for the marginalized population because just putting them on screen is somehow racist.
Forget the arguments over representation or reimagined fairy tales. Megyn Kelly says the problem with Snow White was much simpler. The movie didn't fail because of its themes. It failed because of its star. Rachel Zegler's name was everywhere for all the wrong reasons. Mocking the original, dodging fan expectations, and turning press interviews into damage control. And for Kelly, that was enough to drag the entire film down. But Zegler didn't just audition and get lucky. The truth behind how she got the part, that's when things start getting interesting.
Behind the scenes, you guys know as well as I do that those executives like Spielberg are looking at that saying, Rachel Zegler can F right off.
To Megyn Kelly, the downfall of Snow White started and ended with Rachel Zegler. And when she sat down with Link Lauren and Hollywood critic Christian Toto in March 2025, she didn't hold back. Before diving into the film itself, Kelly brought up something bigger: Ziegler's past behavior. She even compared it to Gina Carano's firing in 2021, saying Disney let Carano go for far less than what Ziegler had done. Then she dropped the line that sparked headlines: "This woman is a pig." So what could possibly be worse than Carano's infamous Nazi comparison? Just one sentence Zegler posted after Trump's re-election, and it blew up fast. By the time Megyn Kelly sat down for her March 2025 podcast, the political drama was old news. She was ready to talk about the film itself and whether Rachel Zegler's performance lived up to the hype. Spoiler, it didn't. Her guests, Link Lauren and Christian Toto, echoed the same feeling. Toto, who actually watched the movie, admitted it wasn't quite the train wreck people expected. It wasn't good, but it wasn't unwatchable either. Still, no one walked away defending Zegler, because what bothered them most had nothing to do with her acting, and everything to do with her attitude.
If you're following the unraveling of this fairy tale flop, hit that like button. It really helps push this story to more curious eyes.
Listen, one of the reasons why Rachel Zegler sticks around is she's got a beautiful voice and she has some talent. So I think that certainly helps her because she's a PR nightmare. I don't know how anyone would hire her, but again...
The awkward CGI and overly modern storyline didn't help. But when Megyn Kelly asked what truly went wrong, the answer was unanimous: Rachel Zegler. Not her performance, but everything that happened off camera. Her interviews were defensive, her tone came off dismissive, and it felt like she was more embarrassed by the movie than excited for it. The criticism snowballed, and most of it traced straight back to her. But the biggest red flag, it was something she said about the prince, and it didn't sit well with anyone.
She's talented, she's attractive, she's got skill, but there are a lot of actresses in Hollywood who bring all that to the table and are not going to absolutely sabotage your work.
According to Megyn Kelly, Rachel Zegler didn't just modernize Snow White, she twisted it. In one viral interview, Zegler laughed while calling the original story strange and accused the prince of being a stalker. For many, that was the last straw. If the lead actress didn't respect the story she was telling, why should anyone else? Kelly saw it as yet another example of politics being shoved into a place it didn't belong. But here's where it gets even messier, because despite everything she said, Zegler still showed up to promote the movie like nothing happened.
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks.
Rachel Zegler did the press tour like a pro, smiling, giving shout-outs to her castmates, praising the filmmaking experience. But there was one thing she never seemed excited about: the character she was playing. No matter how many times she spoke, her tone about Snow White stayed cold. And that disconnect made every interview feel off. But what makes this even stranger? Disney had been working on this film for almost a decade, and they built it around her from day one.
If you're still watching, this channel was made for you. Go ahead and hit subscribe. We break down the stories Hollywood doesn't want you talking about.
So yeah, no, Rachel Zegler, she needs to be more grateful for the role she had. If I were cast in a Disney movie, I would be saying, I love Disney, I love Snow White. I wouldn't be saying anything negative.
To Megyn Kelly, it was baffling. How could Disney put an actress in the spotlight who didn't even seem to believe in the story? But what she didn't see is that this wasn't a last-minute decision. It was nearly a decade in the making. Disney first announced the live-action Snow White in 2016 with Mark Webb as director. Within days, he was collaborating with writers like Aaron Cressida Wilson and Greta Gerwig to craft a modern take. But the real turning point came when Spielberg stepped in. After working with Zegler on West Side Story, he pushed for her to take the lead. Webb didn't question it, and just like that, Zegler became the face of the project. But the first real backlash, that came almost immediately after the casting news broke.
Every young person dreams about a phone call like that. I've been lucky to have a few of those in my life, but this one is certainly extra special as a huge Disney fan.
After Rachel Zegler landed the lead, Gal Gadot quickly followed as the evil queen. On paper, it looked like a solid cast until the internet weighed in. Fans were quick to point out that Zegler looked nothing like the original 1937 Snow White. She was Disney's very first princess. Pale skin, black hair, red lips, and suddenly the studio was being accused of rewriting a legacy. It echoed the same drama that surrounded Halle Bailey's casting as Ariel in The Little Mermaid. But while some defended the change, others saw it as calculated, and what started as a casting choice soon spiraled into something much deeper. As filming rolled on, the conversation shifted from appearance to attitude. People weren't just questioning how Zegler looked, they were questioning why she even took the role. In old interviews, she openly criticized the original film, laughed at the story, and called the prince's actions weird and creepy. That didn't sound like someone proud to carry on the legacy. It sounded like someone distancing themselves from the whole thing. The internet never forgets, and neither do Disney fans. So when her face hit the poster, some were already bracing for disaster. Behind the scenes, this wasn't some quick cash grab. Disney had been building Snow White since 2016, and they stuck by Zegler through years of development, even when the backlash got loud. It wasn't until the movie was nearly done that Zegler changed her tune. Suddenly, she was praising the story, talking about heart and legacy. But by then, the narrative had shifted, and fans weren't buying it. The movie was finished, the press tour was booked, but the on-screen chemistry, that's where the next problem hit hard.
Now you have Rachel Zegler saying, oh, that 1937 movie, that's just, oh, it's tacky, it's weird, we're going to change all that. I mean, what a difference.
After nearly a decade in development, Snow White was finally here, and Rachel Zegler had to face the music. Sitting down for Good Morning America, she took a softer tone, praising the film's heart and message. She spoke like a true Disney lead, choosing her words carefully and talking about the legacy she once dismissed. But for viewers who remembered her earlier comments, it felt scripted, like a last-ditch effort to win back public trust. Megyn Kelly called it out immediately, saying Zegler was saving face now that her career might be slipping through her fingers. Then came the real twist. Reports of on-set tension between Zegler and Gal Gadot. Some linked it to political views, others said it was just clashing personalities. But either way, the drama didn't stop when cameras weren't rolling. With growing backlash and whispers that Disney may be cutting ties, Zegler's future in Hollywood feels shaky at best. And if this was her shot at rewriting the fairy tale, it may have ended before the story even began. In a story built on magic and heart, Rachel Zegler's version of Snow White left audiences divided. A rising star caught in controversy, a studio scrambling for a win, and a film that lost its soul somewhere along the way. Whether this was just a miscast or the moment her career took a turn, only time will tell. Now we want to hear from you. Was Disney doomed from the start, or did Zegler's attitude seal its fate? Let us know in the comments, and if you're into deep dives and industry drama, make sure to subscribe for more.